The 2014 Sewol ferry disaster in South Korea shocked the world. 295 people died, many of them high school students on a school trip. 9 others were never found.
More than 2 years later, the government has begun work to salvage the ferry from the seabed. Victims' families were hopeful that would provide a clearer picture of the sinking. But as the work gets underway, the government has halted an investigation into the cause of the accident, sparking confusion and outrage.
Work to salvage the Sewol began last month. The government spent more than a year preparing after deciding on the project. The 146-meter-long Sewol was one of the largest passenger ferries in the country. Raising the wreckage requires advanced skills. The work is difficult because the ship's hull is corroded and currents are strong. The work was initially supposed to be completed by the end of last month, but it's going to take until August or later. People hope the operation will be over as soon as possible. Lee Gumi is waiting for the day the Sewol is salvaged from the seabed. Her daughter, Cho Una, in her second year of high school, was on the ferry when it sank. She is believed to be still inside the ship's hull. He stays at a prefabricated hut at a port near the site of the accident most of the time. Yellow ribbons are tied to a spot overlooking the sea. They symbolize the prayers of families waiting for the return of their loved ones. E's desire to find her daughter grows stronger every day.
I hope the sea will calm down. I long more than anyone else to see my daughter.
The Sewol accident was one of South Korea's worst ever maritime disasters. The captain failed to evacuate the passengers. He was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. The vessel's navigation officers and the manager of a shipping safety inspection organization were also sentenced to prison for undermining the safe voyage of the ferry. Apart from the criminal investigations, a probe into the cause of the accident is still underway. A committee of government officials and private sector experts was formed at the request of the victims' families. It was given 18 months to investigate. It questioned crew members and individuals related to the ferry's operations. But last month, the government reminded the team its time was almost up and instructed it to conclude its work. That means the report will be compiled before the ferry is raised. Victims' relatives are angry at the decision. They took to the streets, calling for the investigation to continue.
The cause of the accident and the truth are inside the ship.
President Park Geun-hye should heed the voices and hopes of the public.
Che Samuel took part in the demonstration. He lost his son, who was in the second year of high school, in the disaster. This is Che shortly after the accident. He has carried out his own investigation into why the accident occurred, killing his son. He collected blueprints of the ship's hull. He has also attended all of the court hearings on the accident and kept records. The records amount to 6 notebooks. Overloading and a sharp turn are said to be major causes of the accident. But Che and others believe inspecting the ship itself will reveal new facts.
I'm so angered by my son's death that new questions come to mind every day. Only salvaging the ship will uncover the cause.
The government set deadline of June 30th has passed, but the inquiry panel says it wants to continue its work. Now it's up to Parliament to determine whether or not an extension will be granted.
Unusable lifeboats and a defect in the ship's hull are said to be among the causes, but there is still no solid proof. After the accident, President Park Geun-hye spoke about the tragedy. She said it'll create momentum that changes the country for the better, and the victims' sacrifice will not be in vain.